I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
Smacking dudes with his 18-inch meat stick.
I'm going to go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's going to happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! It's been a fucking weeks. We're back. It's the MMA Analysis podcast. We're here with a week after the Derby. We're here with Kentucky's finest gentleman, the Sodsman, Wes Colvin. What's happening?
What's up, boys? Damn it, it's been a while, ain't it? It's pretty good to be back. I will full disclosure, my shit will be short and sweet this week because I've been pretty much partying for 2 weeks. My birthday falls literally like in between Derby, the start of the Derby celebration here through Derby. So yeah, it's been a fun pretty couple weeks around the Derby city.
So Nushan, is like Derby season longer than summer in Canada? How does that work?
So we straight went from fucking winter, just like 2 feet of snow, straight into summer. It was like from like minus 20 to straight like plus 25. It was crazy.
We're doing that shit down here now. Like,
gotta love climate change.
It's weird. Oh yeah, dude. It's if it exists, you know.
Celsius in the house. We understand. Totally good.
But yeah, we're in the middle of the hockey playoffs. Obviously, my shitty team shit the bed this year, but I like Winnipeg. They're up 2-1 right now. They got 2 absolutely atrocious goals in the first 10 minutes of Game 7. Nashville pulled their goalie for the 3rd time this series, and now it's 2-1 with a couple minutes left in the second.
In Nashville, huh?
In Nashville, yeah.
It's going to be a tough third. It's going to be a tough third period if it goes 2-1 into the third.
Nothing like Game 7, man.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for you guys. So, all good out east. Red Bulls are kicking ass. Destroyed our rival NYCFC last week 4-0. Now Wayne Rooney is supposedly going to DC United, who's our other main rival, which is going to be interesting. Let them bring in the old diehards to
croak on the pitch.
Yeah, let them get the butts in the seat, the people to pay, and let their team suffer ultimately, and still suck. And we'll continue with our young, like bring in youth players, go through the academy, bring in talent from our system, and continue to win games and let the other teams overpay for talent to get butts in seats. So I'm cool with that model, and we'll see what happens. World Cup's 35 days away, I think, which is
right around the corner. Yeah,
it's going to be really exciting. I personally think Brazil's probably the favorite. Brazil, the French, the Germans. There's some talent.
Yeah. The Germans, yes.
But I think Spain's coming in a little underrated in this tournament. I think they're a little under the radar. Is
finally going to do it or what?
Non-traditional venue always makes things interesting because a non-traditional power is not, is hosting the tournament. When a traditional power hosts, they're going to be the favorite. That's just understandable the way it works.
Yeah.
History, but Russia, kind of an interesting environment. A lot of Brazilians actually play in Russia, which is actually interesting.
Yeah, they actually do.
They have a hell of an attack with Coutinho and Neymar and
Firmino.
There's a ton of guys. Willian. I mean, it's a really talented team. So I kind of like what they got going on, but you could definitely make a case for about 4 or 5 countries. I wouldn't say there's a clear-cut favorite for like the first time, and it seems like a decade and a half or 2 decades. So, which is really cool. It should be a really fun tournament.
That'll be good. I'll get high.
But unfortunately, without Yeah, I just wish we had a little stars and stripes to root for, but it is what it is. We'll get there next time.
I actually got like deep into the sport last World Cup, so it's been like 4 years, nice. And I probably watch I watch as much soccer as I watch any other sport now, which is insane to me. Like if you said that to me like 4 or 5 years ago, I'd be like laughing hysterically.
Well, why do you like it though? I guess is the question. Besides
it's that sod, it's that grass.
Well, yeah, but I mean, soccer on an HD TV, it just like gives me mad wood. I mean, just instantly, But I always underrated like the talent in soccer. Like you don't imagine like some of these guys. Yeah, the athletes, and it gets a bad rap because of the flopping, and I hate it too. The flopping that happens, but it's part of the game now. It's actually a skill to be a good flopper in world soccer. But some of those dudes, like if you watch Ronaldo and Messi and guys like Coutinho, like Jay said, Neymar, the skill, just that the athletes are insane. I completely overlooked that, but when I didn't get into soccer, but yeah, just insane athletes, man. And it's a global sport. You can see how it's different regionally. Like I'm a huge Bundesliga fan. I like German soccer, just how it's played. It's a lot of scoring, a little more open than like the Premier League is, a little more rugged, and defense is, Italy's like that. So just like it's regional, like the game is different in different parts of the world. It's really cool. I just, completely fell in love with that shit. It's great. Can't wait for the World Cup.
Very good. I'm with you. So let's talk about one thing. So kind of out of nowhere, earlier this week, ESPN Plus, which has been making the rounds in the pro sports as a digital extension, UFC is going to be making a major change come 2019. 15 fight cards are going to be going over to ESPN Plus.
Tuesday night too.
Yeah, and the Contender Series. Sure. New Sean, what does that mean for Fight Pass, 1? And 2, do you think that means Fox is dead?
I don't know. First, what it means for Fight Pass. Fight Pass is going to be less UFC live events and more a library of UFC fights and then random other fight promotions. And then you're going to see the more live stuff that we would have seen, plus a little bit more on the ESPN Plus. I mean, even this year, there was only... There was only a couple that were like specifically
2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3 specific Fight Pass cards. Like they've really scaled back on that. So, your prelims are still going to be on Fight Pass, I think.
Yep.
And then you got the ESPN Plus with just the only those cards. It doesn't mean too much for me because we're outside the US, so everything will still likely be on UFC Fight Pass, just like everywhere else in the world other than the States, which is kind of good because I kind of like that it doesn't change. But I don't know. I think this is just the way that they're going with this new packaging of the cards and stuff like that. They're going to get a little bit from ESPN Plus. They might split the other between Fox and ESPN. I think they're just going to do a lot of different. They're just trying to try to divide it into a bunch of things and trying to get the most money. I mean, they got what, 150 mil for this, 140 something like that. That's a good chunk of cash.
If
that's
real,
true,
it's going to end up being like. It's going to be like $400,000 a fight.
Yeah,
is what they're going to end up getting.
So probably start paying the fighters. That's probably not going to happen. But but good for them.
They got
a good haul
haul.
considering the kind of state of the UFC right now. So good negotiating, and I guess we'll see what they're going to do with the rest.
What do you think, Wes? Any thoughts on this particular decision? Or
in the money, I think ESPN is just purely ESPN trying to get product for their streaming site to begin with, because this is outrageous money. I mean, you realize a lot of these fights are going to be lower tier cards, and you're going to be having fighters making 10 and 10 on a fight. Two fighters making 10 and 10, and this money breaks down to a little over $400,000 a fight. They're making buku money off of this, you know. But yeah, this doesn't really change a whole lot, because like Sean said, they only did I think 2 or 3 live Fight Pass cards last year on Fight Pass, and I think they've been scaling that back, setting this up. But you'll still have all your Fight Pass preliminaries all stay the same. You'll still have all the other fight cards, your Titan, and you'll still get your Glory Kickboxing. You'll have the fight library on there. But the main thing is the ESPN Plus is going to cost $5, and you can add UFC Fight Pass for $5 more. So it's all going to cost the same amount of money that we were paying for Fight Pass anyway. You know, it's no more extra money out of your pocket to get 15 extra UFC cards. And then on top of it, if what people ain't really talking about is you're getting that ESPN Plus too, which they're putting on 30 live boxing cards. You're getting pretty much an MLS season package out of it. All the 30 for 30s, they have prelim 30 for 30, the documentaries they put, like the Bob Knight one was exclusive to ESPN.
Yeah,
Plus.
they have some exclusive ones there. Yep.
Yeah, and all that is going to come in with your $5 that you're going to pay for 15 extra fight cards that you would have been paying anyway for Fight Pass. So I mean, to me, this is all a win-win.
So here's the only thing that I don't get. So, I mean, if you look at what Fight Pass has to offer versus what ESPN Plus has to offer as a whole, I mean, ESPN Plus at $5 and Fight Pass at $10, that's a win, right? So here's the thing.
So $5 for you. You get them both for what you was paying for Fight Pass. And then
here's the one thing though that's not being talked about a lot. So ESPN Plus is going to have 15 exclusive fight cards, right? Fine. The pay-per-view Fight Pass prelims, they're only going to be available on Fight Pass. You're going to have to pay for both.
Yeah, but did you not hear that if you buy ESPN Plus, you can add Fight Pass to your subsubscription for only $5 more. So then it's $10 a month.
So it's $10 anyway?
Yeah, it's $10 total.
We'll see how that plays out. Let's see.
No, that's true because
they reported.
Yeah.
That was reported in the press release. Yeah, you're going to be able to. It's the same price
if you package it that way. If you buy it specifically, it'll only be $10 a month. But I think
part of me thinks the UFC is going to ultimately sell Fight Pass to this ESPN Plus or some other entity,
just straight hand it off or something.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, because they have a lot of deals, right? It can't be anytime soon because they sign a lot of contracts with a lot of fight organizations that are going to have exclusive.
How much are they paying for that though?
It can't be a lot, but I mean they don't need really expensive content for UFC Fight Pass. But I mean, I was talking to somebody else. It's like if you only use Fight Pass for literally to do your fight breakdowns and just prelims, you should might as well cancel Fight Pass and pay your $5. You can go stream those prelims somewhere if you really want to watch.
Yeah, you can find a place. Yeah, of course.
But I pay for Fight Pass anyway. I pay a yearly subscription every year. I know I'm going to have it. I like it. I use it. Why wouldn't I just buy the ESPN Plus for $5 and add another $5 and use what I was paying anyway? I get ESPN Plus for free is pretty much how I'm looking at it. And I'll use ESPN Plus a ton. Hell, I even watch lacrosse and shit on there. Brad's got me watching. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that shit is ESPN Plus matches. But all that shit, MLS, you're getting an MLS package. You're getting fucking baseball games. You're getting all kinds of shit. And you're right. All these companies are going digital. Like they have to. Like the subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subscribers is lost over the past 5 years. They've lost fucking millions of subscribers over the past couple of years. They got to go to this, man. You got so many of them going to this, your Fox Soccer Plus and shit and ESPN Plus now. Yeah, dude, this is the new frontier. This was a good deal for both, I think. You figure if the Fight Pass subscription numbers are right and it was between 400,000 and 500,000, you got to figure they're going to pick up a good chunk of that, offering it at pretty much the same price. It's a win-win, and then the UFC's getting $400,000 per fight that they put on there. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal for both sides to me.
Yep.
Hard to argue that. I think people are surprised how much money UFC's getting from this deal. But the question is, how much money are they going to get for the? So there's going to be 12 pay-per-views, right? Hypothetically, one a month, and then you have these 15 fights, 15 events. That's 27. In 2017, it looks like 2018 is probably around 40 events, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Insane,
right?
The
so where are the other 12 or 13 events is the question. How much money do they get for them?
The quality of cards is going to be as bad as it's ever been. That's the only. If you like your MMA, which I do, I watch all kinds of MMA. That's cool with me. I watch a lot of shitty MMA. If I can bet money on it, fuck it. I really don't care. This sport 10 years ago, where this shit is now, is nowhere what I thought it was really going to be. I was one of those that cheered the TV deal when it first happened. Like, oh my God, this is going to change it all. They're going to get the best athletes and people's going to make all kinds of money. Yeah.
A couple people are going to make some money. That's about it.
People are going to make some money, and they're going to go to every fucking barnyard fight card in the country and drag out every hillbilly they can find and give them $20,000 to go beat the shit out of each other on Fight Pass, And it's going to make it even. The product's just going to be so watered down, dude. It's it is what it is, I guess, man. You got to look at it both ways. Do you like having MMA on every single week? Not even MMA. That's the thing that kills me about it is like, we always got like MMA almost every week. It was just fucking low level MMA on Access TV and HD Net. And that was cool. Then you got UFC, the fucking real shit, once a month, once every few weeks. Now it's literally like the UFC is that fucking shitty regional MMA every weekend, and every now and then you get a card like we had a few weeks ago, a month ago. That's just pretty much what this is all turned into. I don't mind it. I watch a lot of shitty MMA. I like to bet on it. It's cool to me. It's still a cage fight to me. It's still two people cage fighting, but man, it's going to be watered down.
And with the UFC getting as much as they did for the ESPN Plus deal, then they don't have to get as much from the TV deal. And like you said, there's only going to be 17 other fight cards. So then those are kind of, let's see, the Fox cards, the big Fox cards, and then a couple other, UFC on Fox or UFC or FS1 cards. And they package that between, either ESPN or a split between both or whatever. And there's your, whatever they get, 300 million, 350 million, 400 million, whatever they're looking for. Total.
We can't even call that shit Big Fox anymore with some of the cards they put on. That's how bad it's gotten. You know what I'm saying?
The one coming to Calgary is good, though, and I'll be going to that, so I ain't. Yeah. It's all right.
That's real good. That's
the recent ones have been rough, but that one looks to be good if it stays in shape.
You'll get your shot to see some live MMA news, Sean.
It's true.
Finally.
I've been to like 4 cards now. 5 cards.
Okay. I'll talk about a Canadian and local for you. It's okay. One you can drive to. Yeah. Without using a snowmobile.
Good stuff. So, should we break down this amazing pay-per-view card? Talk about amazing meh.
So we got a 13-fight meh card from the birthplace of mixed martial arts, Rio de Janeiro. So that's always exciting. First fight on the card from the Fight Pass prelims is, surprisingly there are no new fighters on this card. So a rare UFC event where there are no new debutants. I mean, there's still 2 days, but I assume at this point they would just cancel the fight. So I don't think we're going to have any new fighters, which is interesting. So the first one is two guys who fought once in the UFC, both coming off a loss. Middleweights, James Bogdanovic against Marcus Perez. Nushan, any thoughts?
Bogdanovic is not good. He had one of those inflated Midwest records that Brad and we've always talked about, and the
only good Midwest fighter in the last 5 to 10 years is the Darren Elkins, the Danger.
Yeah, and he didn't stay in the Midwest. He moved away. Well, whereas this guy, he's just gonna still hang out in fucking Kenosha.
Oh wow! Shots fired.
Oh shit!
Marcus Perez, he looked okay against Saunders. He showed a lot of toughness in there. I think that's just he's just gonna be way better than Bogdanovic. And obviously the line shows that, so I'll be picking him. But I'm not betting on these guys.
Yeah, you can't be that confident.
No.
Mr. Colvin, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what Sean said here. Perez, just him going 3 with Anders and staying in there pretty tough in that fight is pretty much better than anything that I've seen Brockovich do. So, Perez the pick, but you can't lay 300 here.
I got Perez a D+, Aaron Bogdanovic a D-. Nushan kind of laid it out. Bogdanovic is much slower, less athletic, just not as good as Perez, but 3-1 on a guy who's never won in the UFC before is not a thing you want to do. So, buyer beware, but this is a guy that probably should win and win by knockout. Next fight up, actually one of the better fights on the card, my opinion. Alberto Mina, who is, if I remember correctly, still undefeated in his UFC career or in his MMA career, facing off
against United Kingdom regional scene
against the guy that I'm very high on, Ramazan Emviv, another one of the Dagestani hopefuls. We'll start with the Sosman. Don't tell me you would ever bet against a Dagestani fighter.
Yeah, not this one.
Fine.
Yeah, Mina, they're rolling out the ghost of fucking Mike Powell and Akiyama and shit on fucking Silence of the Lambs, dude, on a fucking rollback and shit. Me's he'll take this to the mat, man. He'll grind. I like him here. I'll probably put him in a parlay with a little something.
All right, that was interesting.
That's all you need.
Yeah, Mina he hasn't fought in just under 2 years. He actually has 4 fights in the last 7 years.
He likes fighting.
He also stole Gay Jesus' nickname. I don't know what the hell this guy. I hope the Dagestani murders this guy, but we'll see. The Dagestani went to a decision against old Sam Alvey, so Alvey's tough, but hopefully we see a little bit more from Meave here. I'll pick him, but I ain't betting him.
I got both these guys to see, but Mina's 36. He hasn't fought in a while. Meave looked pretty good against Sam Alvey. He's certainly comfortable in the cage. Has power, has variety. Fights with some regularity. This is his fight to lose. I'll pick him to win in Brazil. Next fight up is Also an intriguing this is a middleweight bout. That was a welterweight bout between Jack Hermanson and Talis. Hello, ladies!
Ladies!
Wes, what do you got here?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hermanson wins this fight. I think he's the better guy slightly at this point, but man, latest down in Brazil, I mean, it screams kind of sketchy to me, man. I'll probably end up picking latest and Toutmaster. This just feels like one of those funny fights down in Brazil that latest finds a way to win. I got no explanation for it. I just think it's a pretty close fight, and latest in Brazil. I'll probably pick him at Toutmaster, but I can't bet either one of these guys here.
Sean.
Yeah, this fight screams pass. Ladies looked pretty rough against Brad Tavares. Maybe I'm underselling Brad Tavares, but he definitely didn't look very good in that fight. And then Jack Hermanson got knocked the fuck out by Thiago Santos. So it's kind of tough coming off his first KO in his career. So I'll probably pick Hermanson. I think he's just a younger, fresher fighter, but I can't bet a guy that just got smashed in his last fight for the very first time.
Yeah, I'll just take everything Nushan said. I got both these guys a C- and kind of go along with it. I agree with that. I favor Hermanson, but I think traditionally, I think he's fought twice in Brazil, and both times he's been awful, and it's been the two worst performances of his career. So it's definitely a real question mark, and he's facing a veteran like Ladies, but again, Ladies is going to fall off at some point in the very near future. It's just a matter if it's this fight or the next fight. I mean, Hermanson definitely, in my opinion, way better long-term trajectory, but you got to be careful here. Fight Pass prelims main event. We got Sultan Aliyev taking on the dude named Warley. Wes, I know you're a fan of the Warley. Could he be a Dagestani fighter?
Man, I do like Warley in this fight. I think he should win it. He didn't face much in his first fight back, coming off of his injury and surgery and shit. But one thing he did do in that fight is he went 3 pretty good hard rounds. And we all know that Warley's got all the skills and the punching power. It's just, man, his cardio is very, very questionable. But it did look a little bit better in that fight. But man, this is going to be a fight where he's gonna have some pressure on him, man. He could be putting some spots here that's gonna sap that cardio. Alvey, that against Bohan last time, I mean, that was a hard grinding fight, man, and it was close. But if he can do that to Warley, man, that's where Warley doesn't want to be in fights, man. I still have a slight question about his cardio, even though he looked better last time. But I think Alvey gets him with something before we get to that point. So yeah, Warley's going to be the pick. But man, it's just I have another feeling about this fight that it's going to be a tough one and could go either way. So Warley's going to be the pick, but I'm going to stay away.
Nushan, can you summarize this in quicker fashion?
I agree with a lot of what Wes says.
There you go.
Hopefully, I mean, Warley's kind of, after losing 2 fights, I mean, those were pretty decent guys. Barbarino was kind of a bad matchup because of his grinding style. Hopefully Aliyev can't do that to him, but it's definitely possible. I'll pick Warley just being the better fighter, but yeah, like Wes, there seems to be something maybe there where Aliyev just survives a bit and was able to lean on him and grind and wear him out, but hopefully not.
I got Warley a C, Sultan Aliyev a C-. It really comes down to just athletic ability, potential. Aliyev aging, Alves still relatively young. He's got He has got that really good guillotine, and he's got punching power. Alilev, decent stand-up game, but just again, it comes down to variety, and that's where Warlley Alves has the advantage. So I'll pick him to win, but it's not an odds where I'm really intrigued to play. Moving up to the televised card, we have Sean Strickland versus one of Wes's favorite fighters, Elijah Dushku.
Elijah Dushku.
What do you think about that one? She gonna beat him?
This is just another fight to me, man, where I just have just some weird feelings. It's close, man. I think Elijah Dushku's a little bit better of a fighter, man, but man, Strickland could put him in spots, man, to where he could grind, and I could absolutely see him getting a decision here. I think this goes over. I know it's real juiced up, but I got the over in a small parlay. I think this goes 3 rounds, but man, it's hard to pick a winner here. I'll probably pick Strickland just because he's dog money and top master, and I like the over.
New Sean, you agree?
Yeah, you and I were kind of discussing this before the podcast. We were a bit surprised that Strickland was the underdog here. This is kind of like a 50-50 fight, maybe a little bit of an edge to Strickland. I bet him pretty big against Court McGee, and I think he gave me a little bit of a scare in that fight. I thought he would be able to just dominate the ghost of Court McGee, but so that
Court back on that run. He was running around with something in his veins that fight, wasn't he?
Got him juiced up. Yep. So that's a little bit why I'm not going to bet him, even though I think he should win. But Elijah Dushku just kind of came out of nowhere. We were always kind of joking about him, and he's actually beat some decent fighters. Akhmedov wasn't great. Nakamura is a pretty tough veteran. Lyman Good's meh. And Max Griffin, we thought he had a little bit of something there. So I think it's a close fight, 50-50. I'll pick the dog in Toutmaster. Jay?
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Wake up, Jay.
I'm thinking.
Crack another beer.
I'm not sure I really. Yeah. This is a Strickland kind of a fight. I mean, he's a guy who loves going 3 rounds. He doesn't really finish people very often. He's a guy that I thought would do a lot better in the UFC than he has. I mean, despite having a really positive win record, he just hasn't overwhelmed the way I thought he was capable of doing. Dos Santos is, he's a guy who's gonna stay active, which is interesting because if it goes to a decision, which it's going to, it could come down to volume and just activity, and that's where Dos Santos can get the nod, and that's why I'd be tentative to put my money on Strickland, despite I feel he's a better technical striker, a better a more effective striker, but he just doesn't throw at the kind of volume that I think is necessary to get the job done on a regular basis. So again, I'm picking Strickland, but very tentative to actually have any sort of investment on him in this fight. So moving up on the televised card, we got Davi Ramos, who looked pretty good in his last fight against the German Nick Hein. West.
Yeah, man, I gotta imagine Hein is just gonna be just completely juiced down here in Brazil.
What else is new?
I'm gonna bank on that a little bit here. I think this is another really, really close fight that you could make a case either way, and I'm gonna pick the dog here. I think I can go down there and grind out a victory here. So, gotta be a pick in top master, but this one that it's a coin flip to me. I'm thinking about betting it if Hein maybe gets a little bit more plus money just out of odds. But yeah, I think it's another close coin flip fight on this card. Hein will be the pick.
Nushan, quickly, who do you think here? Anything different?
Same sort of thing. Not betting Nick Hein because he's a German that, well,
He's German. He is German. That's enough.
He is German. He trains in Thailand and he's got to go down Brazil. That's a bit of a mess, travel wise. But I mean, if he does get, for some reason, if Davi Ramos gets steamed a bunch and Nick Hein goes to like plus 140, plus 150, I might have to sprinkle on him.
Let me see my grades here. Hold on a second. All right, we got Hein a D plus, Ramos a C minus. Ramos is an interesting character because he's got a really good striking game, really athletic. Nick Hein, good judo, decent striking. Just looking back at Ramos's record, I mean, it's just not as impressive as I thought it was, despite his overall fights won versus lost. As a guy, I think that he kind of bullies opponents that aren't very good and ends up looking mediocre against, solid opposition. That could be the case here against Nick Hein, who, he's just, he's been solid overall in his UFC career. He's not a world beater, but he puts himself in fights and gives himself opportunities to win. So I'll take Ramos just because I think he's more dynamic, but I don't think this is going to be an easy fight for him. I think this will be very close on the scorecards. I know one of our favorite fights of the event is coming up right now. How do I describe this fight? We got a heavyweight fight between
couple guys that wear diapers, one for old age and one just likes to dress like a baby.
Likes to get down like it.
I think it really depends on what you're looking for. Okay? we got 47-year-old heavyweight Alexei Oleinik taking on Mr. Depends, Mr. Huggies.
Mr. Huggies.
Junior Albini, the diaper goat. Wes, I'll let you start. Is he going to show up or is he going to crap his pants?
Oh, man. Well, he has said that he has said that he's not going to wear the diaper again. Oh. So
Lies.
Boo.
That's kind of disappointing. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. This is. I think it's another one so much shit could happen. I like the over. I like the fact he's going to fatty in this one over 1.5. That's the play for me. I'm going to pick Alexei here. I just think this could get sloppy, and we know how dangerous that dude is, just with so much stupid, crazy shit. So I'm going to pick him in Top Master. He's the dog, so win another close one. He'll be the pick. Bet is Fatty's going to fatty.
Ushan.
Yeah, Albini goes from just knocking out Timmy Big Dick with I'll say it a fluky punch.
It was,
and then he's this big favorite against Arlovsky, the corpse of Andrei Arlovsky, and he just pretty much does nothing against him. That freight train, that hype train, got derailed real quick. But and then you got a Oleinik who does just weird shit. He didn't look terrible against Blades. He did get punched a lot, but he was able to survive. He's definitely a tough old bastard. And for that, I mean, I gotta agree with Wes. You gotta take over 1.5. Fatty's gonna fatty. It's minus 125. I think that's a good play.
We don't get 1.5s at that price often anymore.
No. And
you almost got to take it.
These guys aren't that big of killers. I mean, shit can happen at heavyweight, so don't go crazy. But I'll pick Oleinik for being a better fighter, even though he's 80 years old.
And got like 65 fights or some shit like that.
He is fucking old. I got both these guys at D plus. I'd be definitely a little nervous if I was betting Albini, just because of Oleinik's top game. He's definitely dangerous in that regard, but Albini way quicker on the feet, way faster hands. I think this is ultimately his fight to lose, but after the way he fought against Arlovsky, you could never trust him with your money again. Fight Pass prelim finale, or actually it's not Fight Pass, it's just a television.
We bet on the main card.
Yep.
It's the main event. It's the main event of the FX card.
Televised main event, which is actually a really interesting fight.
Why is it on FX?
We got former tough one winner, Cesar Mutanch, taking on the dude from Dana White's Contender Series, Carl Roberson. This is definitely a little bit of a clash of styles. Wes, what do you think? Do you think Roberson's going to continue his winning streak?
Man, I've been a little impressed with him. I think he's got some pretty good skills, man. Only 27 years old. A couple pretty decent wins to start off in the UFC. But man, it's a theme on this card for me that this one just feels like another funny close fight. And you're talking, Cesar fucking Magma Man down in Brazil, dude. That just screams red flags to me, man. I got a feeling that Cesar wins this fight. I can't bet either which way here. I have no clue, honestly. I'm going to pick Cesar just because it's in Brazil. But if Roberson goes down and beats Cesar in Brazil, I'll be impressed however he gets it done because, like I said, he's got a couple pretty good wins already to start his UFC career. He gets one down here against Cesar. I'll be impressed. He'll move up a little bit in my book.
Well, or rather, Nushan, what do you think here?
Mutanch has definitely shored up his defense. He hasn't been flatlined in about in just under 3 years, so he's definitely figuring that out a bit. Roberson does have some pretty solid offense. I don't think he's going to be able to tap out Mutanch just with his defensive game. So if Mutanch can not get clipped, I think he can win here. No chance I'll have money on that guy with that chin and that history, but I'll pick him to get a win in Brazil.
That is wild that he's turned that around that much.
Yeah, because he got knocked the fuck out in 3 of 4 fights, and hasn't since in 3.
And we were all betting the shit out of it every single time, and then it dried up. Yeah, then it ain't happened in years. Yeah, it's wild.
Definitely bothersome. I got both these guys as C-. I do think Roberson ultimately wins this fight because even though Mutanch hasn't been knocked down in a while, he's facing now a guy with real power, who's going to be out there trying to knock him out. He's young, he's hungry, and he's capable. I don't trust Mutanch in that regard, and I would take Roberson if I had to bet this fight. 5 fights left in the card. This fight could easily be the main event of this fight card, given that it's likely the retirement fight for 2 guys who are going to be in the UFC Hall of Fame one day, one way or the other. The legend, the Rio man, Vitor Belfort, taking on the Dragon, Lyoto Machida. Really cool to see this fight happen. Too bad it didn't happen 5 years ago.
Late. Yeah.
But it's still really cool to see. Wes, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I wanted this fight when Vitor didn't.
Everybody did.
When Vitor didn't look like your dad walking out in his bathrobe to pick up his sweater.
You mean when he knocked the fuck out of Luke Rockhold?
And Bisping.
Man, dude, I'll go down forever.
Magma!
TRT Vitor back in the day was the scariest fighter that I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
it's pretty terrifying.
He's right there, man. Hillman, well, I was going to say him, Uberim and Pride Days Vandelay are probably the 3 scariest fighters that I can ever remember. But TRT Vitor's got to be right there. I mean, that dude was an absolute monster, and it wasn't just like he was juiced to the gills. He still had all the speed and skill. It ain't like he wasn't a bad fighter. He was one of the best fighters on the planet skill wise too. This fight here, man, this is just Vitor's completely fucking washed, man. He literally looks like a fucking cancer patient, dude. He looks so fucking bad, man. His body is just like
melting.
shit. Yeah, dude, it looks like he's fucking wax and he's being fucking melted. It's bad, man. I think Leoto's about done too, but he's not this done. I mean, he went 5 with Anders. I think he got a absolute gift decision, but he went 5 with Anders. Yeah, Vitor's completely done. I actually like Leota quite a bit in this fight. I parlayed him. I'll probably look at something inside the distance. But yeah, Vitor's completely done. I just cannot see him, even if he catches Leota with something. Does he have a muscle left in his body? Looks bad, man. Yeah, Leota all day for me.
New Sean.
Yeah, this is tough. I thought Machida lost his last fight. He looked bad when he got hit. He didn't get hit that much, but and then you got Vitor, who's now training at TriStar and basically
He won't throw a punch.
Zahabi just neutered his offense. He doesn't even throw anymore. So even if Vitor hits Machida, if he does throw something, is he gonna fire? Is he gonna blitz on him and finish? I don't know. My pick is Machida, just being a little bit less absolutely finished. But yep. I kind of hope it's tough because I like Machida. I kind of hope that he looks impressive, and then they try to put him against somebody, and then I can fade him. But that would probably end very, very poorly for Machida. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. But the pick is definitely Machida. But I can't bet on somebody that just looks so shot.
Yeah, I got Machida C+, Vitor Belfort C-. Yeah, Machida survived against Anders even after he was hurt, bloodied up, hard to see. Did all 5 rounds. I don't think he won, but the fact that he survived and was competitive says a lot. Vitor, it seems like, has a half round that's decent and then slows down significantly. It's hard to see Vitor win this fight, and not to mention that, but Vitor also shits the bed every single time he's ever faced anyone that's a Hall of Fame caliber fighter. It's super dangerous, and I think he's going to ultimately probably get finished here. Next fight up, 4 fights to go. We got an interesting bantamweight clash between American Brian Kelleher taking on the dude Johnny fucking Lineker.
That dude.
Wes, I know you're excited. Tell me about it. This could be the best fight on the card. For as long as it lasts, I think. I like Kelleher. I think the dude's got some pretty good skills, man, but he's bit off way more than he can chew in this fight. Lineker is literally top of the fucking food chain, man. He only loses to the absolute best. I mean, his only losses to TJ in I don't know how many years now. Fight after fight, dude just puts on amazing fights. I think we can all say one of our favorite fighters in the entire sport. But yeah, I like Kelleher, man. Hopefully he does what he said he's been saying for a month now. He's going to come and throw down with Johnny fucking Lineker. I hope he does, because it'll be very exciting for as long as it lasts. But he's not going to come out on the winning side of throwing down with Johnny fucking Lineker. So I like Lineker all day here, and I have him parlayed. New Sean, see anything different?
No, I mean, Kelleher has 5 submissions by guillotine. That seems to be his specialty. Lineker has definitely been caught in that before, so that is a bit sketchy. Kelleher might go for it. Hopefully he blows out his arms, and then Lineker can just absolutely fucking tee off on him. And like Wes said, I hope Kelleher brings it like he said and doesn't try to dick around and blue ball Lineker. I put a half U on Lineker by TKO at +3. Where is it? +330.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's went up. I think this is going to be if Kelleher says what he says and Lineker can put his hands on him, it's gonna go night. So I like Lineker to win, to be able to fight off the guillotines and throw his hands like he does.
Got Lineker at B+, Brian Kelleher at C+. This ultimately comes down to Lineker's power. Every time he touches somebody, even if they try to stay far away, as soon as he touches them, they have to respect it. That's just who he is. He's one of the few fighters in this weight class who can knock somebody out, and that creates its own intrinsic advantage. Kelleher is going to have to try something different if he's going to have any chance to win this fight. Based on technology available, I don't really see a chance happening. 3 fights left. Middle fight of the pay-per-view card. We got Amanda Cooper, who, if you'd ask me, looked pretty damn good at the little, what do you call it today?
The like the media
Face
day
off.
or the
Face offs.
Yeah, the face-offs. I think she looked better than our, good old girl Mackenzie Dern, who's an American, lived in America all her life, yet has an accent that's thicker than what I experienced.
It's fake news, Jay. Fake news.
Fake news. All right, Wes, talk to me. What the fuck is going on here?
Man, I tell you what, Dern's probably going to win this fight, but man, she is like
terrible.
She's like Ronda Rousey to the 10th power level striking, dude. It's like fucking ridiculously bad, and Cooper can throw them hands. I know she got a little bit of pro boxing. Dad or family is in the boxing business. She can throw some hands, man, but man, can she keep it up long enough to connect with some? Who knows? I will fade Dern every single time I can get over plus 200, and eventually I'm going to cash a couple of those, and I'm going to take another shot here. I got Cooper at, I believe, like plus 240. It's going to happen. Dern's going to get caught with something eventually, and I'm going to win some money when it happens. I don't care how much I got to lose to get there.
All right. New Sean.
Yeah. Cooper, I mean, she's fought decent fighters. Calvillo's decent. Suarez, I think we think is pretty damn good. Hopefully she shows up. Dern's striking is trash. She almost lost to fucking Ashley Yoder.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to sprinkle on Cooper by decision, which is plus 485, and sprinkle on Cooper plus 230 or money line plus 230, just in case she somehow finishes her. Just like Wes. I mean, I'm pissed. Props to anybody who grabbed Cooper at the opener plus 350. That's insane. These new odds makers are throwing out some interesting lines. But yeah, I'll pick her in Toutmaster, and hopefully we can steal a decision here.
Absolutely.
I got Dern a C+, Cooper a C-. I mean, Cooper, she can do a little bit on the feet, but Dern had struggles in her first fight, but I don't think she's going to have struggles again. Cooper's been finished 3 times in her career, all by wrestling submission. I think that could definitely happen again. Cooper just isn't that good at defending takedowns and too reliant on going back to her feet to bring something else up. I think that creates its own advantages, and she's going to struggle, maintaining that position within her company moving forward. It's just not easy. Co-main event time, fight that's really intriguing to me. Kelvin Gastelum taking on Jacare Souza in a top 5 middleweight cash. Wes, what do you got?
Yeah, this is it's a pretty good fight. I just how I'm looking at this, I think this is another one where Gastelum, he's going to be at a sizable size difference in this fight. I think he's improved a ton, but this has a feel of the Weidman fight to me, man. I just don't think he's going to be able to stop the takedowns from Jacare. I don't know if Jacare is has got a bad chin or anything, but he's definitely getting older. So, Gaslam's got some serious hand speed, pretty decent striking, so that does worry me a little. But man, the first time Jacare gets a hold of him in this fight, I think it's just going to be very, very bad for Gaslam. I think Gaslam could be a legit title contender at 170. Man, I don't think that dude's ever going to healthily be able to get there. And guys at 185, man, are just, he's got to outskill them like levels to beat guys at 185, and Jacare's just too high level for him to outskill him to make up that difference, in my opinion. So, I play Jacare at minus 135. He's minus 150 now. I still think that's a good line here. I just think whenever he finally gets a hold of Gaslam, it's going to be bad. So yeah, Jacare for me.
New Sean, do you think that Jacare is one step away from the title or title fight, or do you think that Gaslam could potentially be that guy?
I mean, if Gastelum can knock Jacare out, I think he's got to be there.
Yeah.
With Weidman's injuries, he's right there. I'm a big fan of Kevin Gastelum. I like his style. His hands are awesome. I really don't give a shit about the whole missing weight and fat bullshit. When that dude fights, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough one for him. Jacare, he's getting older, but man, he is still really fucking good. He really only loses to the elite true middleweights. I know Whitaker went down to 170, but he's still much bigger middleweight than Gaslam. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. The size difference is gonna be big. Jacare's been doing jiu-jitsu for how many years? I think he's gonna be able to cover up, not get clipped, get Gaslam down, and then it's gonna be real tough for Gaslam. I played Jacare at minus 139. Like Wes, I still think minus 150. There's some value there. He could prove me wrong. He could knock him out. It wouldn't be a bad thing to get some new blood in there, but I still think this is something where Jacare's a bit undervalued and kind of going under the radar with losing to Whitaker, I guess. I mean, that's nothing to be ashamed of. So yeah, pick and bet is on Jacare. You like Gaslam, don't you, Jay?
I do, but I mean, it's a tough fight because, I mean, going down to Brazil, going to Rio, taking on Jacare, who's very well proven. This would be Gaslam's best win of his career. The way I think about it, it would be more like the Whitaker fight with Jacare, that Jacare tried takedowns but just couldn't get them. And then he's forced to throw with a guy with way quicker hands and way better movement. And I think that's where Gaslam is going to catch Jacare and ultimately finish him. But it's tough because we just saw, Gaslam, last year fight Chris Weidman, who has a great submission game. And, he struggled once he was taken down and ultimately was submitted. So it's tough, but here we are. One fight left. We got the main event title fight. Amanda Nunes defending for the third time against Rocky Pennington. West 10-1 odds on Nunes to win. Is that real or is that inflated?
I mean, yeah, it's probably inflated a little bit, but she's going to win. I mean, I don't know. Once you get up that high, you're looking for angles and props and stuff. So, 600, 900, what's it really matter? I think she wins the fight. She's pretty much more skilled than Pennington in every single area of fighting, in my opinion. Pennington hasn't finished anybody in a while. I don't see how she can get some kind of crazy finish here. So I really like Nunes points. I got that in a couple things. I do think this could go some rounds. I mean, Pennington's really tough. I don't think she's a complete garbage fighter. So I think this goes a few rounds. So I like the over as well. It's plus money, but I think Nunez gets this done by a pretty wide margin. So I really like the points handicap. A little bit on the over.
All right, Nushan, what do you think?
I'm pretty big fan of Amanda Nunes. I mean, she's a chick that actually has pretty decent knockout power. Obviously, people were pissed at her last fight when she went long with Shevchenko, but Pennington's in tough here. She's coming off a fairly serious shoulder injury. She's been out for a while. She beat Misha Tate, which is not much to speak of. I mean, that was in 2016 November. Going down to Brazil, it's a high number, but I have a hard time seeing a way that Pennington's going to win. She is tough. I think it is just like Wes. I think it's going to go a couple rounds. I played the over 2.5 at some plus money. I think Amanda Nunes kind of just over about 3-4 rounds. She's just going to take. She's going to give a good beating, and then they're going to finally stop it in the fourth or late in the third.
Yeah, this is
just looking at this real fast. The first time, was you in Tennessee for that fight, Jay? Nunez McCann.
Yeah,
Nunez McCann. So that was the
Sarah McMahon. Yep.
That's when we was all at weigh-ins, and we all pretty much. I know me and you did put a bet in on Nunez, and since that fight, when I think we got about 2-1, I believe. I've hit her for that. She was plus 110 against Shevchenko the first time, plus 274 against Misha, plus 180 against Ronda, plus 128 against Shevchenko again. So Amanda Nunes has made me almost as much money as about any fighter that's out there. Huge fan.
I got Nunes an A+, Pennington a B-. Nunes is definitely more talented. She's the biggest hitter in this division. She's got a better ground game. But Pennington is sneaky. She's only been finished one time in her career. She's got a sneaky submission game. She doesn't hit hard, and she can be a little complacent at times on the feet, which I think will make it really difficult for her to win the fight. But I think ultimately she can, survive, or more than survive. Just kind of move round to round. I think she's tough to finish, and I think the over really is the best play on this for this fight. Plus money over 2.5 rounds. I could easily see this going a full 5-round decision with Nunes winning. So that's really kind of where I see it. I could see Nunes winning 4 or 5 rounds of this fight and kind of struggling to find a finish. It is the MMA Analysis, and we do have a consensus bet. It is the over 2.5 rounds in the main event. Amanda Nunes, Raquel Pennington, over 2.5 rounds. That is plus 115, right, Nushan?
That is currently plus 115.
All right, so plus money total main event fight. That is our consensus bet, where we're trying to get back on track after, in May. New month. Let's get back on the winning track.
And on the plus side, if it loses, at least we get to see a chick get finished, and you don't have to spend 25 minutes watching a chick fight.
Oh man, Lance is probably going to pay us for that. I will pay out your bet if she can get knocked out in the first round.
He doesn't care.
Jets
He's still trying to get
5-1, by the way, guys. So that's beautiful.
Congratulations for Canada to actually do something in hockey.
Yeah.
I know you still got a lot of work to do, but yeah, it's good enough. And with that, that is the end of our show this week. We'll be back again next week. UFC's back in session with some entertaining fight cards ahead. I'm really actually looking forward to the one in Liverpool Memorial Day weekend. So that should be a good one with Darren Till and Stephen Thompson.
Yeah. Hopefully Till gets his head knocked off for being a piece of shit.
There you go. Did you guys see that? Just before we go, did you guys see that picture of John Jones hanging out with fucking Platinum Mike?
Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine how much cocaine was done and how much tail was smashed that night? Jesus,
that's terrifying.
I think it's the MMA hangover.
Oh, geez.
Imagine who would you want as your 4 horsemen of that apocalypse? That would be, I mean, oh my God. I mean, maybe a Nate Diaz in there. I mean, God knows what else we could get. It'll be fun. Oh,
yeah,
man.
you gotta have your weed hookup. You gotta have your cocaine hookup.
Yeah, you know. And with that, enjoy the fight. We'll be back next week. Good luck on your bets.